Welcome to News from Quiet Places, the show that brings you stories from the corners of the world that too often go unheard. Each episode we travel across Asia, Africa and Pacific to spotlight voices, events and moments that rarely make the front page but matter just as much. I'm your host, Mikhailo, and together we will discover the news shaping lives far from the usual headlines, with clarity, respect and curiosity. Let's begin. Story 1. G20 leaders seal broad commitments in Johannesburg. The G20 summit in South Africa concluded with a landmark declaration covering debt sustainability, energy transition, climate action, and inclusive growth. Key points: stronger financial support for low-income countries, debt for climate swap concepts, boosting renewable energy and disaster resilience. For Africa, the summit emphasized Ubuntu as a guiding value and supported a minerals framework to help African countries benefit from their natural resources. Why it matters? This could be a turning point for how global economic governance considers developing countries, especially in Africa, aligning climate goals with fiscal reform and social equity. Story 2. African activists demand just energy transition. Civil society groups from across Africa use the G20 stage to press for a rapid shift away from fossil fuels, but on their terms, locally owned renewables. They rejected debt-heavy fossil fuel infrastructure investments and argued for grant-based community-led climate finance. Their call: ensure that energy transitions don't simply replicate extractive inequalities, but empower African communities instead. Why it matters? This is more than protest, it's a vision for an energy future that centers justice, sovereignty and development. Story 3. COP30 struggles, trade tensions cloud climate diplomacy. Trade disputes are overshadowing climate ambition at COP30 in Belém. Many developing nations are criticizing the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. Countries like India, China, South Africa and others argue CBAM unfairly penalizes them, calling it a double burden that ignores historical emissions. In response, Brazil has proposed an integrated forum on climate and trade to reconcile decarbonization goals with economic fairness. Why it matters? These tensions highlight a core fault line in climate task: balancing environmental ambition with economic justice, especially for Global South countries. Thank you for listening to News from Quiet Places. If you enjoyed today's journey through the overlooked and underreported, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who loves discovering the world beyond the usual news cycle. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep your eyes on the quiet places, because that's where the real stories often begin.